Well, Shay, I'm so happy you're here.
Thank
Really.
you. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So, there's so many things I want to cover, but I want to. So you grew up in Israel, right? You're Israeli. I just
Yeah,
want to know because
grew up in
they're going to
Israel.
hear accents, right, during the conversation.
Yeah, the accent's gonna be there. You're gonna have to
Yeah,
to put it aside.
Yeah, so just for our audience, we're going to speak slower and calm, and you can always click the subtitles if we're not, but I'm sure we'll be fine. So when I kind of learn what you do, I think the things that popped up for me, and I want to dive right into it, is digital transformation. Okay, so as someone who's not in the tech world, explain to me or to anyone in a simple way what is digital transformation.
Okay, so if I had to define that, funny enough, I wouldn't say that technology is the first thing I would say. Digital transformation is about helping businesses define their business goals and achieve business impact by leveraging technology. This is digital transformation.
Okay, so the emphasis is on transformation, not on digital, right?
Yeah,
so you're
exactly.
saying, I'm going to repeat what you're saying just for me to understand, right? So you're saying that a company that want to transform its behavior will use digital or technology as a tool to accomplish what they wanted.
Exactly.
Okay.
But in order to get there, you need to remember that it's first of all, it's a transformation, and then it's an AI or digital transformation. So exactly what you said.
Okay, good. So you're saying a company but here's a challenge, because companies might want to accomplish something, but they don't want to go through transformation. Transformation is something where literally everything alters. It's not like change. Everybody, all business want to grow, want to do better, right? More money, more customers, more whatever it is, more growth, whatever your goal is. But the fact that and I'm putting you on the spot, even though you didn't come up with that expression. For me, transformation is something that's a shift of way of thinking, right? That's at least how I hear the word transformation. So when someone says I deal with digital transformation, it's not just about how can we get more customers. Am I right?
Yeah.
So tell me what's the difference between using technology to grow, KPIs, whatever, the software, etc., all the way to actually transforming a behavior.
Actually, in my perspective, transformation is a dramatic word, right? You hear it, it can numb some companies or can numb some people when they think they need to do a transformation. They sometimes they just like how things work and they just want to improve, right? But I do think transformation is a good word because it's putting emphasis on shifting mindset in everything, from small things to the bigger ones. And can you repeat the question again?
No problem. So what said is exactly it. So every company wants to grow, and everyone understand whether you run a vegetable stand all the way to AI multi-billion-dollar company. You want to grow, you want to expand, etc., and you understand that technology will help you, right? But you're an expert in digital transformation. So what is the difference between just using software or technology to grow versus digital transformation? What's the difference between the two?
I think it's a difficult question. I think
that's my job, by the way.
No, you're asking good questions,
and you don't have to have the answer. Like let's work it out, right? So explain to me. You walk in. I say, hey, what do you do, Shay? For? You're like, well, I deal with digital transformation. I said, tell me what it is. What?
I help companies look on how they work and on how they operate and find how they can leverage technology in order to achieve these goals. It can be smaller stuff or smaller problems that they have, and they can use very simple tools or like the cutting edge technology of AI. It ranges, right? You don't have to sometimes I'm going back to what I started to say. Sometimes when you use the word transformation, it can numb people.
Yeah.
And in a way, I think that my job is to talk about problems, to identify bottlenecks, and help companies understand whether if it's like a big tool or a small tool, how they can work more efficiently, how they can bring more value to their customers, how they can get new customers. But it's not about tools. And every time people hear AI, they think tools, they think names, they think titles. But for me, that's not what it's about. So when you ask me that, I'm like, this is not the bottom line.
No, I love that. I'll say what I hear. you're saying sometimes people throw a big name out there because it opens doors or you can bill more, right? Because like, look what I'm doing, right? But in reality, actually, you're saying my day-to-day is more important and more simple because all I do is I look at what the company needs and how can technology and what kind of tools I need to bring into their system so they can increase their productivity, their ability, etc.
Exactly.
I got you.
And many people come to me when they want to, AI and the buzzwords are all over the place.
Yes.
And people want to stay.
And we'll talk about AI. Like, we will spend hopefully
AI
time.
is the current revolution, right? It's the current bubble that we're in. But over time.
Oh, it's the current revolution. You
for
say.
me, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
okay.
By the way, my passion when I talk about what I like and what I'm interested in, it's not technology per se. I was fascinated by the future. Since I was a little girl. So for me, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Actually, when I was 15, I was in the Weizmann Institution for Science. It's one of the largest institution for research and scientific like things in a worldwide range. How do you say it? Worldwide acknowledgement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Weizmann Institute is one of the leading tech and research, centers and university in the world. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
Thank
you.
It's fun. And I went there when I was 15. I learned from the best professors and lecturers on how technology will look like, how things scale, even from the mathematics perspective of it. I mean, how the world is going to look like in 10 years from now.
So you're like a futurist. Yeah.
So that's my passion. And that's what I look on. And when a company comes to me and they have a vision or they want to change something, again, it's not about the tools. Tools are just tools. And I still think that even today, when we saw how AI transformed the world, I still take it in some kind of I'm not taking it too far in my mind. I'm trying to keep it somewhere in the middle. So, yeah, I mean, that's...
Yeah, so you're saying, look, my passion is to bring the future to now, right? To understand what direction we're going, right? To bring some of the abilities to now, right? So what fascinates me in this part of the conversation is the gap. I want to talk about, because Unmask is really about failing more than anything else. People talk about success all the time. It's all great, but I think we live in a culture when people don't learn enough from failing. So I have a vision. I'm a business owner. I have a vision. I don't know how to translate it into technology or anything like that. Tools. I don't know. I just want, I have one location. I want to run 20 locations. Okay. And then you come and you say, look, I will help you bring the future to the present, right? Bring the kind of the future image of 20 location to one. So there's a gap there. What do you think is the biggest challenge when you meet with a business owner for the first time? From the way they think.
They come with the buzzwords they've heard before, and many of the times, and they want to implement them right now. Right, I mean, right here, right now.
You got to put AI in my system.
And they also bring like specific names. They have models, they have tools, they already have an idea what they want, and it's not necessarily connected to what they're trying to achieve or to the real bottlenecks of their business.
Oh, that's very good. So that's really cool, because they either spoke with someone or they read something and they're like, you got to use this thing because I know, but they don't know anything about it.
Which,
right?
by the way, is a positive thing. When somebody is open to accept these changes and these tools and to make changes in the company, that's a positive start, right? But when somebody comes with names in their head, they're sometimes not open to hear what they actually need.
Yeah.
And
how do you open their mind? Because if my cup is already full to some degree, and I think that I know, we should implement this software without knowing anything about it, it seems to me you kind of take a little step back and say, hold on, what do you want to accomplish in the big picture, right?
Exactly.
And how do you convince them to let go of what they research? They feel so smart about themselves, probably.
First, there's a very thin line between AI transformation and AI theater. Okay, I mean, people
theater. You're saying?
I think it's people use that
theater.
AI theater. People can again throw names in the air,
but it raises money.
True, and also it's a legit goal, right? You want to be aligned with where the world is going. So not like ignoring AI completely. I think it doesn't make any sense. And I understand leaders who want to keep up with what's going around them. But my strategy is actually to listen first. When I'm listening to the leaders, I'm not also canceling their ideas. Maybe they have truth underneath what they say. But the way I start understanding what I should actually recommend to do is by talking to everyone. In the last company I consulted, it was a company in retail, a big furniture retailer in Israel. And, it was a 20, 30-decade-old company. And in a way, they were very innovative, in their mindset. But still, a lot of the things they worked on were quite old. The way they work, the way they think. Also, a lot of things are tangible. So it's harder to transfer them into something or more AI-ish, let's say. And when I met them for the first time, they had many ideas. They've heard about Nano Banana, and they talked about image generation.
Nano Banana is the video creation AI system, right? Yeah,
image generation.
Image generation.
Yeah. And back then, like 2-3 months ago, it was also the biggest thing you could.
Thing,
yeah. You've heard about it everywhere.
Yeah.
And they've heard about it too. And they work with customers. They present home settings. They have furnitures that they want to display in their stores. And they had many visions for what they want to achieve with it. And when we first met, they started giving me all these solutions. But if there's one thing that is the most important thing I've learned through my experience, is that solutions is the next step. We start with finding problems. So I listened. I want to know what they think. I think they're like smart, achievable people. I don't cancel these ideas and these solutions. But after I gather that, I go explore the company. Yeah. So for the first 7 days of me consulting to them, I talked to everyone, to the customer success, to the designers, to the buyers, to the logistics managers, to the
So you
CEO.
gather intelligence, right? Basically, yeah.
Basically,
yeah.
I have.
Which we'll talk about later because yes.
But yeah, that's how I start. Then I start to understand. It can take a week, it can take longer. But in this specific company, I took 7 days just to listen. And I've heard how different people with different perspective perceive the problems, the bottlenecks, and where the company needs to improve. And after I got that, I realized that, and you measure problems with ROI, right? I'm going to put some effort. I'm also an AI builder.
What's the ROI on it exactly?
Yeah.
And return on investment, Just for someone who doesn't know what ROI is, return on investment. Yeah.
No, thank you. Do that when I.
No, it's not like you. Like we have 1 million people listening to. I hope 1 million, but I'm saying we have many people listen to this to this podcast, and so ROI is return on investment. Like, what's the point of spending X amount of energy or money on something? Does it return bifold? So you have to put X, you have to get double X.
Exactly. Yeah. You need to return when you put an investment on anything. You want to know that it's worth it and that you're not burning money. You're actually making more money out of this. Out of this energy and resources you put on it. So first week, that's what I did there. And I realized specifically for that company that one of their biggest bottlenecks, which by the way, they pointed out, but they pointed out many other problems and solutions that were noise to what they were actually needed to focus on. Their problem was pricing. And specifically, not the prices itself, but how long it takes them.
How they went about pricing the product, not about how much it costs.
For how long it takes them to send a price offer.
Oh, got you. Okay.
They are a very luxury,
brand. Yeah.
They're a luxury brand. They have lots of customizations and finishes to each product that they sell. And it could take them 3 days to send a price offer to someone. So by then someone
moved on, went to another place and bought somewhere,
It just seems less serious. You come for a place for an experience, not just you pay so much.
Yeah.
And it takes them 3 days to tell you how much what you picked is cost.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And they want to do the best job, but they go through all these PDFs and they need to find the exact code of this specific couch with this specific angle, with this specific color. It was a mess. And they know it's a mess. So for your question, I hear people, I'm not ignoring what they want, but throwing names in the air is not the way to start for me. There's a playbook for how you make a change, not a transformation, but how you make a change and how you make an impact based and leveraging technology.
Yeah, it's interesting because I find that in my consulting work, sometimes you have to let the client speak. Even though within the first 5, 10, half an hour, I already know what's the issue there, because they have to empty because they come with all those ideas. They came to me, right? I'll come to you. So sometimes even if you hear it, but you're like, that's not a problem. You have to let them go through the process of dumping everything. So there's kind of like an empty space now that you can start to create new things. Because if you start to say from the beginning, hold on, this is not what actually I think you're dealing with. They go like, what do you mean? And they're too busy protecting this theory they have about what is the problem in their business. Actually, just they gotta dump everything. They gotta empty out all their thoughts, and then you can take a step, collect the intelligence, and take it from there.
I also think that it's not just about letting them empty their mind. It's also, there is, even if it's messy or even if it's not still connected, they have some truth in whatever they share with you, right? They have perspective.
Yes.
They know the business.
They
so
know
even
the
if
business better than you. You're not in furniture. They're in furniture. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
So even if I don't take everything they say the way they say it, I listen to see what they think the problems are. Even if the solutions is not the exact solutions I'm going to pick in the end.
Okay. And then how do you find the solution? Because it's not that you're selling. Look, if someone sells a particular software, some SAP or that they specialize in that, right? That's all they do is they know how to sell the same software and they kind of try to tailor or convince that this is the right software to solve the problem. But you're not, right? You are actually working for the company to find what will be the right tools. You don't sell a tool, you sell a solution, correct?
Correct.
Every day there's new update, there's software, the new companies like, no, we will solve the problem. No, we will. How do you keep yourself updated on what the hell is going out there?
It's a mix, by the way. I am trying to stay always updated. I have my websites and I have my newsletters and I play with many tools. And I have also the experience of things I already know how to use. I always see what they're integrated in. They have updates sending to me. So I know what the world has to offer and what technology I can use. But you phrased it in a way that said, what is the newest thing out there?
Yeah.
And I don't think using the newest thing is necessarily an advantage.
Why?
Actually,
Because it doesn't have a proof of concept, or it might have too many bugs, or it's not successful.
For many reasons. It might be not still proven. It might have bugs. It might not integrate with what you already have. You can have a great technology, but it does not fit or does not speak with the system that you already have installed. And it's not worth implementing it because it's just going to take too many resources from you and it's going to just distract you.
Yeah.
And also, related to that, people forget that when you implement AI, it's not just implementing it and then you don't touch it anymore. You need to maintain it. So picking the right technology has a big impact for your future and your resources. And it's not just about the newest tool.
Yeah,
it's important to understand.
So
that.
how do you keep yourself? I mean, okay, you read, you're online, you're in touch with things, but how do you keep yourself? Because there's so much. I mean, so much stuff happening all the time. How do you what do you do to keep yourself at the edge, or not at the edge, but advanced enough to really tailor the solution to the client?
So for me, it's a combination of newsletters. I picked these resources that I trust.
You probably jump into AI and it gives you a one-page summary. Yeah,
yeah, I do that. By the way,
of course,
I'm great
we all do
at it.
exactly.
But I am still a believer in humans alongside AI.
Yeah.
And I'm in communities and WhatsApp groups and forums that talk about. A lot of people are enthusiasts of what's being released. They try, they share. And I learn from them way more than I learn from any other resource.
Yeah.
That's my way to keep up.
Okay, so if we go through the path of digital transformations we started, and you said it's actually just learning learning the tools that are needed and the fit between the tools and the company. So you listen to the intelligence, right? You collect the intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
You get a sense because of your software background and your knowledge about what will be the best solution for them. Not maybe the best solution in the market, but for them, because they might have old system that don't fit, all that stuff you said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now it's about implementation, right? Now you have to come and say, okay, I have to now show you how to use it. Okay, what is the next step for you when you say, here's the tools you need to use?
No, rephrase the question. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem at all. So I have a problem, right? Mm-hmm. I come to you and I said, here's my problem. You listen to me, you realize it's not exactly what I thought. You then went out there and found this amazing solution for me, okay? Now you have to come back to me and help me implement that in my system, right? Mm-hmm. How do you do it?
Oh, I see. First of all, every time you implement a solution, you have to remember that whether it's me, like a permanent employee that takes care of it, or someone else, someone needs to maintain it. So the first thing I ask is who's going to work with me on it. Whether if it's me as an outsider who comes to help,
Because
And
you
then-
just you're a consultant, so you come, you do your thing, and then you leave. But someone has
I've
to
done
make-
both. I was a consultant who helped companies, like as an outsider who comes, researches, and offers solution. I was also an employee who implemented part of these solutions. I also, some of my colleagues, by the way, they are the AI supervisors, I would say, of their companies. And what they do is make sure that every technology or every tool that the company implements is staying maintained and that somebody knows how to keep making it beneficial. So first of all, I ask who's going to work with me on that. We're going to find what the department that is in best fit for implementing this new solution. And somebody there has to be as committed as me. He has to have goals and going to be measured by that. And we define a project, we define some time that this person is with me on implementing whatever we decide to implement. Then we start with a little MVP. We define the problem.
So MVP is minimal viable product. Again, because we throw words that, like, I'm not sure all our audience
No,
knows.
I'm happy that you do
so
that.
MVP in sport is very different than MVP in tech. So MVP is minimal viable product, which is basically, correct me if I'm wrong, MVP is let's develop something that is the fundamental idea but doesn't have all the features in it. It's the minimal viable product. Viable, it works, but it's the minimal one. It doesn't have all the features, all the things in it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's
okay,
the
fine.
leanest
I
solution
passed
you
the
can.
test, I know what
Exactly.
MVP is.
You know what
okay,
MVP
perfect.
is.
Yes. Okay. So you find the MVP of the what the company needs, right? The minimal viable product.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes, by the way, it's way less techy or crazy than what the founder or the initiator of that idea thought it would be.
Give me an example. What do you mean it's less?
I'll give you an example. I'm thinking. Okay, I work with a company again I'm gonna take this furniture company again.
Yeah.
We worked on the price lists and how we extract data from there in order to
Give a proposal much faster than 3 days. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, yeah.
So what they imagined their product would be is like a search engine that you have all the catalogs in. They can look for each couch or each lamp that they want, and they get it
puts
instantly.
together in a very nice way.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
That was not the MVP. For me, the MVP was to take two catalogs, not 300 like they have. Two catalogs that speak different languages, and find if the same AI can read them, understand them, and send it to them. And it wasn't even with a nice UI. It was just one box of text that you can talk to, and it outputs the code of what you were looking for. If this works, for me, it was a proof that AI can understand this catalog, because these catalogs, each one of them was like so different. So I took one day to just read all, I picked 3 or 4 catalogs. I read them like A to Z, and I built an agent that can read them. When I gave it to someone who was just working on a price offer, who used one of these catalogs, and he could describe what he wants and get an output back that he was happy with. Okay, I know we're in the right. Exactly.
Okay, so
just
you
a
said,
text
look,
box.
exactly. So the moment you actually use one of the salespeople to try it, and he or she succeeded in that, yes, I put what I'm looking for, boom, it gave it to me. You're like, okay, now I have the minimal viable product. Now I can develop it to the next level.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a proof of concept and an MVP. I knew that an AI can read these catalogs, and I knew a sales agent can use this and get faster results for price offers. And then I knew this is the solution I need to do. I need to teach an agent how to read the catalogs instead of, I don't know, extracting it into a database.
Yeah. Okay. I want to talk about the human part of it, because the conversation is not a tech conversation. It's about, again, I want to talk about all the points of breakdown, all the moments we can fail in the process, because the person who's listening to this conversation might not deal with the same thing, but they're dealing with places in their lives when they're committed to something and there's a gap there. Exactly. That's why people bring people like you. And so you gave an example of someone who's very excited. They put in something like, oh my gosh, now the catalog actually gives me what I want versus me going through 300,000 SKUs, right? Like something insane like that. What happens when people don't get threatened by technology? What happens if you go into a system and they're like, yes, but that's how I do things. They're like, you don't know, you're like a tech person, like I've been doing it for 20 years. I've been doing 30 years. Like, what happens then? How do you break that resistance?
So first, in one word, it's collaboration. Okay. But I hope what I'm going to say is not too controversial.
No. You should say something much more controversial. That's the whole point of being here.
But I think the reason there's two main reasons for me for why people resist technology. First is fear of change. They know how to do things a certain way, and it's hard. It's hard to change the way you work. And second, it's ego. People are afraid that when they touch this new technology, they won't get it. It's too hard for them. And then instead of being the expert of what they do, they're going to stay behind. So they just don't want to touch it. It's too much for them. They don't know if it's going to do it the same way. So they say, my way is way better. I'm not touching this. And when you understand that's how humans operate, you also know how to bring it to them, So
the resistance is because it's really great. And my background is in real estate, so construction. Construction is the most backwards, primitive industry. It rolls trillions and trillions of dollars, but it's also listed as in the top 10 industries. It's number 2 in the world after finance, right? But in technology, out of 10, it's number 10 because no one it's really behind. Saying that is exactly what you're saying. So this ego, right? And so how do you kind of massage the technology into their lives without them being no, I know better, or oh my gosh, I'm scared, I'm not going to be relevant?
What I really love about AI, AI is not just a tool for humans anymore, it's a friend, right? It helps us do all the things we hate to do. So when I come to people, I think by really quickly when I talk to them, I realize what they don't like about their job. And in a way, I harvest them in being there with me just by thinking, cool. I won't have to do this shitty part anymore.
So you look at, that's really, I want to emphasize this. So you're saying, I'm going to look at things that people are not happy with doing, because we all have in a job, doesn't matter what job you do.
Exactly.
Even if it's the job of your dreams, there's an element of it that you're not happy with, or that you rather not do, or it's that kind of I had to do that because I love the other stuff, right? Mm-hmm. You say, let's focus on that. That's going to be my easiest one to go after, and say to them, look, AI or technology, not just AI, will solve that. So they get excited. And that's how you get them.
I get them by understanding they can focus on what they like and stop doing the things they don't.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, that's
Is it true? I mean, what I mean by that, the question is so I feel there's something manipulative, I would say, by the way, controversial about it. Why do I mean by that? Why do I say manipulative? Because it starts with me saying, AI just going to do the things I don't like to do, right? Mm-hmm. But then AI it's a super intelligence, right? So it's not yet, but it's getting there really, really, really fast, right?
True.
So there'll be a moment when it's kind of keep on taking pieces of what I like to do. So it's kind of you're massaging something into my life, and then you don't think. Okay, so tell me how you see it.
I don't see it the same way. Yeah. What I do is I'm trying to show you the positive parts first, so you won't resist trying, so you won't resist collaborating with me. But in a way, AI is going to change how we work, and people are afraid of that. People have, like I said, people have ego and people have fear. And I want to help them overcome that. And I also don't believe that AI can replace us all. I know some people would say I'm wrong, but I really believe that the future is not going to be as extreme as the SaaS is dead and we don't need people anymore. AI is going to do everything for us. I think it's going to be a human.
You should say that to Wall Street, because all the SaaS companies right now are struggling. Because people say AI is going to replace it.
It happened so many times in history. You can look on the .com bubble, and you can look on crypto and NFTs. Mm-hmm. People thought there's not going to be banks anymore. And
the banks are doing very well. Yeah.
Banks are still here. Yeah. And physical stores are still here. We didn't all move to .com, right?
Yeah.
So in a way, I'm trying to be more humble on where AI is going to take us, and not just kill technology, but to say it's going to just change. And I don't think humans is going to be out of the equation in the near future.
Yeah, I'm gonna come back to it, I promise, because I want to talk about more. But going back to that person you're helping in the furniture company, right?
So I'm not. What I'm trying to do here it is a bit manipulative, but not in a way that I'm going to take his job in the end. I'm not lying to them. I'm just helping them to see the brighter sides. In order for them to cooperate with me. And things evolve. They might do also the things they like the AI might take over other parts.
Yeah,
but
they like less, right? Yeah.
What?
That they like less, things that they like less.
But people can still do whatever they like. I mean, teaching AI and maintaining it and training it doesn't go anywhere. Mm-hmm. So for me, I'm not manipulating them in a bad way until their job is gone. I'm actually just helping them to see the advantages of cooperating.
Who's the most difficult client to deal with? Not
Wow.
not the name, but I'm saying what kind of a person is the one you have the most amount of resistance or the most amount of challenges when you work with? When you go into a company, when someone hires you for a project,
Mhm.
is it the person who is older and really doesn't get technology and feels, or is it the person who knows? Sometimes, people who know a little bit is the more dangerous people who don't know anything, So from your experience, who's the one that's most challenging?
The older ones.
The older ones.
I mean, it's not. Of course, it's not like
Yeah, of course.
things
it's not.
change, but
Yeah.
it's usually the older ones.
Because what, the fear is what's running them, or what?
It's not. I don't think it's fear. It's more lack of knowledge, and they like do things a certain way, and that they don't want to lose control over stuff. And I understand that, but they are the ones who resist the most.
Yeah.
They say they don't believe in it that much. They think. They also don't have this mindset of let's just give it to AI. They don't trust the outcome as much as they trust themselves.
Yeah.
They are the most difficult
Well, whether you
ones.
believe it or not, sometimes it's not relevant. I mean, you can believe or not in science, but it's there. Like when you drop something, you're going to go to the ground.
Yeah,
I don't believe it.
AI is there. Right?
Exactly. It doesn't matter how you believe. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's really cool. Okay, I want to stop because there's two more things I want to talk to you, and we can go back, and we're going to go back and forth. We're going to play a little ping pong, right?
Sure.
But when I learn about you, right, and what I was excited about having you here is that you were part of a very specific unit inside 8200, right? So for people who don't know 8200, I'm assuming most of the world know about it a little bit. And you correct me because I'm not doing the official thing, but 8200 is like the intelligence technology element of Israel, right? And with the war in Iran right now and everything, and we're not podcast about politics or geopolitical issues, but 8200 is has this aura, right? It's like saying the Mossad. It's it's so funny when you go to Silicon Valley. I've done a few things there. People say, "Oh, I've been to." I was every Israeli who gets off the plane goes like, "I used to work for 8200," and you can't really check if that's the true or not. So you can make some phone calls, but it's like the Ivy League of intelligence in the world. It's like the top of the tops, the Harvard or the whatever, the Stanford.
It's the Israeli equivalent to the NSA. You
Okay,
can
I think it's much more than the equivalent to the NSA, but I'm not the one to take away from there because it's amazing what they're succeeding doing it. So you were inside that unit, and you don't have to share with us any secrets. You were in a top unit inside that unit, right?
True.
So from a business, because this is a podcast about business and about not just business, but about kind of like failing and how we think as leaders. What is the methodology, or another way to look at it? What is the culture that 8200, it's a small unit, right? It's a few, I don't know if it's public. Few thousands, okay. Leave it like that. We don't have to. What is the culture that the Israeli Defense Forces created that gives this unit so much innovation, so much power?
This is $1 million question.
Yes.
It's
a $1 billion question.
It's a $1 billion question.
Exactly. Yeah. What's $1 million? We're in New York. $1 million is 2 cups of coffee. Yeah.
Millions is nothing for now.
Exactly. Yeah.
So first, I was in that unit. I served there for a couple of years, and specifically, I was screened to a course that teaches leaders inside this unit how to lead teams.
Yeah.
So I was exposed to many methodologies. It's a very dynamic unit, and just if I had one more sense of who we are responsible for the most high impact, sensitive, and tech-driven initiatives in the army. We are impacting every day how the Israeli intelligence is analyzing and uses technology. And I was honored to be exposed to this methodology and this way of thinking. But touching your point, I think from what I can share,
because I'm looking more for the methodology and the culture, not about the details.
I can't talk specific, obviously.
No, you shouldn't talk specific.
I would say that we talked a lot about finding the problems and working from the problems and not from solutions. They are masters in that. They've built a whole system that the way it works and the way it thinks, it's through problems, right?
Okay, so I want to. This is fascinating for me. So I want to stop on this one. So you're saying, look, here's in business. I look for the problems, not the solution. The solution will come later. We will find the solution. I'm not worried that much about that. I want to, first of all, what's the real problems, not what you think the problem is, but actually what is the real problem, right? So you're saying actually this methodology is being used in the army, in the intelligence world, right? Okay. One is, how do you create a culture when everybody can be excited about the problems? Because in normal life, in businesses, in families, in relationships, people don't want to talk about the problems. People don't want to like celebrate. Oh, I found another problem. Can you imagine what an amazing world it is? I mean, there's a reason why it fits perfect to how I believe and how I see things in Unmask and Zenith. It's like, I'm excited about problems because that means that we can address them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But most people don't want to deal with problems. So my question is, how do you create a culture that celebrates finding problems?
It's an amazing question, and I have an answer for you. Problems for me, or how I see the unit is dealing with it, it's the leadership problem. Defining what the problems are is not for the soldiers, it's for who leads them. The soldiers celebrate wins. The soldiers celebrate solutions. The soldiers celebrate answers. The way the unit is built, we have, again, I'm trying we have teams, okay? Each team has a problem that it breathes. It
breathes, like he lives it, he eats, they eat there, they live
exactly.
it, yeah.
You know what, let's make up a use case.
But go ahead, sorry.
Imagine that Japan was one. I'm just choosing. Japan is one of our like the areas that we care about, and
Japan, Iran doesn't matter, but let's just Japan. Okay.
I didn't say that.
Exactly. I said it. It's okay. Yeah.
Let's assume Japan is like our main domain of interest, and that one of our problems that we want to know: how many people in Japan have rabbits in their houses? Okay, I just made something up.
Like a random thing, like
random thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is a problem. We need to know that for this and this reasons, and we don't have an answer. We take you're an analyst. We take you're a developer. We take you're a researcher. We take you do web researches. We put you together. It's your life right now to solve that problem. And you're not going to rest until you answer this question.
For your angle. So as a developer, you got to give the answer. And from a technology person, like they all work together.
They work together. Okay.
But here's what I think the biggest thing I'm taking out of what you just said. You actually differentiated between leaders and soldiers. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so it's the same if you use a business example from the employees to like the management, right? Mm-hmm. You say management job is to deal with the problems and kind of breathe it. The employees or the soldiers in your example have to get the wins. Mm-hmm. They're not sophisticated. Again, they might be very smart, but they're too junior. I'm not saying anything bad about lower level, right? They're too junior to really see the big picture. Therefore, they can't really deal with the problems. They can deal just with the wins. Is that what you're saying?
It makes sense though. Yeah. And I think in a way when you're a junior, you don't know the entire picture, especially intelligence of a country. It's such a complex, big thing. But you can grow to be a leader when you get curious and you research and you talk to more people and you think about ideas. The army and the unit knows to identify that, and they know how to promote you and expose you to more. So people with initiatives and people with like entrepreneurial vibe or entrepreneurial mindset, they get promoted and they become officers.
Okay, that's extraordinary. I'll tell you what I hear in what you're saying. It actually leads me to a question: is there a culture when a junior person can come and point to something and it's welcomed on the upper levels? If I'm just started, but I see something that is a problem, is the culture welcome me? Knocking on the door of my boss and say, by the way, I found this problem. Is that what it is? Is that one of the reasons that it feeds?
It depends. Actually, the unit is not perfect. We can better the culture every time, right?
I mean, October 7th, unfortunately, it's a very...
This is an example of where we failed.
That's an example when someone doesn't listen to the bottom junior people saying, there's a problem. They're like, no, we have a theory, like the black swan, kind of like, no, we're so stuck to our theory that we're disconnecting from actually the facts and the so of course, no.
That's a painful example, but it's true.
Yeah, it's a very, very painful example. But I'm asking from a design perspective. Sometimes it failed, right? System sometimes fails. Mm-hmm. But is the culture in 8200 a culture that welcomes people pointing to problems because that's what they're fascinated by?
I don't think it's part of the directive, but the people that are getting to the unit are smart, are open, and they trust each other. So it really depends on who is your commander and who again, it's not a directive. It's not
Yeah.
listen to the juniors.
Yeah.
But it depends on who's your commander, and if he's open and trusts you enough to listen to you and let you lead stuff, even if you're more junior or in a later, like lower rank than him. But it's not a directive. Like listen to the bottom up.
But yes, but again, I'm taking it to the kind of civil world, like the business world, or because in most places, if someone knocked, when I ran an office, I try not to, but of course I failed in that. But in most businesses, when a junior person knock on the door of a senior person says, "Here's what I found," they're like, "Don't tell me what to do. I know better. I've been around for 10 years. Like, who are you to you just started work 3 months ago, and now you're telling me what's the problem?" But when one creates a culture that celebrates finding the problems, I think there's actually a hunger to hear that. And that's where you can have like extraordinary results, because you don't think about it in a traditional way.
True.
Right? Okay. Like Elon Musk and Tesla is a good example, I think, that he didn't think about it like a car companies. Cars have been built for over 100 years, right? And he's like, no, I'm not coming from the model of the cars, right?
You're actually saying it in a different way. Elon Musk has the vision, and he was the head.
Yeah.
And he had trusted people that he knows that can lead, like the top, bottom, and what's the opposite of bottom up? I don't know.
Yeah. Top to bottom, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But top bottom can lead the company. He knows the vision, and it goes all the way down. In the unit, I think the thing that is amazing about it, people there are super smart. I mean, it was rare to find someone that I thought, he's not as smart as I.
It's really the top of the top. It's like
the top
elite,
of the top.
Yeah.
I was honored to be part of this group.
Exactly.
I don't know how I got.
Exactly. Yeah. I think each person walks in and like, people are smarter than me. That's a good sign. Exactly.
No, really. There's it's the group there is super quality, and because of that, the trust is high. And the higher commanders know that when somebody raises a problem, like to listen. Actually, I have an example for you. I'm trying to think how deep I can go in the details. But I told you that we work with the mindset of a problem. I had the problem I was about to solve in my service. It changed, but
yeah, of course.
At a specific time, I had a problem in mind, and that was my job to solve it. And, we have different resources, and we have different information that we go over. And again, not to go into too much details, but there was one time that in my resources, a different problem came, something that was not in my domain.
Yeah.
And I looked at that, and that was interesting. I was like, whoa. I don't think we have anyone who's
it's off the radar.
This.
Like
it's off the radar.
You couldn't even see it coming. Yeah.
And I came to my commander, like direct commander, and I told him, "Hey, what do we do with that? I mean, that's not my domain. Does somebody else do that?" And he was like, "Oh no, throw it away. It's not our domain." I told him, "Really? Like, should we?" And he told me, "Yeah, throw it away." And it was weekend, and he went home, and he told me not to touch it anymore. But more information comes in, and I feel like less comfortable in throwing it away. Yeah. And I knocked at some point. It was me and another person. We were like getting information. We got concerned, and we went to our a higher commander.
You jump over that direct
and
officer.
we protected him. We said, "Hey, he said this and this and that." We respect it, but we have this strong feeling that this time his directive was wrong.
Yeah.
And eventually, by the way, it was one of the they built a team out of this problem because it was a big find. So
it's maybe for you it's not a big deal as much. It's a huge big deal, especially in America, and I'll tell you why. This is very Israeli, what you just example. Like, I know that my commitment to solving problems is bigger than the structure of the ladder. Whether army ladder or corporate ladder. This is very Israeli. They have the audacity to push and no, I'm more committed to to solve this problem than worry about getting in trouble with my boss.
Mm-hmm.
It's not very American. Very American. Americans are corporate. Like in large companies, it's all about that's what I do. I don't stick my nose into someone else. Who am I to say because I'm going to get in trouble? The boss is not welcoming that. So I think that's one of the reasons why it's so attractive to tech companies to hire Israelis, because they're willing to go and push the envelope and say, no, I know you said no. I'm going to go to the person above you, and I'm going to say it because, again, it's not about my ego. I'm not trying to cut that. I'm trying to solve a problem. So just, for you as Israelis, maybe it's not a big deal. For Americans, they have to be so committed. From my experience, I've been here 33 years. They have to be so committed to the solution that they're willing to go and kind of push it. So I think that's part of the magic, right?
That's interesting. Actually, that's part of my character right now. But I never made this like distinguish between me being Israeli and me just being like dedicated to what I do.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah,
it's an
it's
interesting
very.
perspective.
And by the way, one of the challenges I think with small companies, if you kind of like we take a little path, and I have a theory. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, really, tell me. No, you're off.
Mhm.
One of the reasons you see very large funds buying tech in Israel by companies,
Mhm.
and to some degree gut them. I mean, people like say exit, oh, unicorn sold for this billion, but that's wonderful. Is because Israelis are very good as a culture in solving problems and being extremely creative.
Mhm.
But there's a level of there's a size when you can't keep on reinventing yourself. You know, like McDonald's. You want to walk into a McDonald's in Berlin, in Tel Aviv, in New York, and get the same French fries. You don't want to be like, well, I want to. The problem with Israelis, they're so innovative. It's going to be, let me do it a little differently. So I think Americans, large check writers, understood that Israelis are amazing to bring it from the beginning to the middle of the road.
Mhm.
But if it's keeping the same thing every time for many, many years, Israelis are not good at it because every program is like, I know better. I can fix this code again. And you can't do that if you have 150,000 employees, right? So I think that's one of the reasons you have people buying companies as they're growing. And when it's stabilizing, there's only a few companies that purely maybe checkpoint, like very large companies in Israel that are like stable and the innovation, but they stable. So that's kind of my theory.
That's
around
the
it.
beauty of combining cultures.
Yes.
Also, the market in Israel is not big enough to sustain a company that wants to scale like for a bigger size.
Yeah.
So we always there's also a great partnership between Israel and America, and we always come here first with our innovation and with our products.
Yeah.
And this collaboration of people that think about scale and structure and things being organized, and people that have more chutzpah and
audacity or
and
chutzpah.
bold.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to say we have more boldness than America, but just a different kind of
Yeah,
boldness.
exactly.
So
there's a reason why it's called Startup Nation, because you're very good in startups. You're not very good in the next phase, right? Exactly.
Yeah. We have things to learn from the Americans. That's for sure.
It's just also it's a different culture. When you live in a country of 330 million people, it's a very different behavior than a place that has 10 million. So it's a different way of thinking. Good,
No,
perfect.
for sure.
All right. So the last thing, we have a few more minutes. You said you're futurist, like you love from the age of 15, you love thinking about the future, right? So we mentioned AI a few times in the conversation as more of a tool, right? And I always ask my questions. I always ask my guests whether they're in fashion, like we had the CEO of Brooks Brothers, or in CBD, or like whatever it is, about AI and the impact, right? So, and I'm not going to quote you, I'll come back to you in 10 years and ask you, but how do you think our lives, especially in the world that you are, in management, we start in digital transformation, how will the employee's life will look like in 3 years from now?
I believe AI, there is a difference between humans and AI that I don't see how we gap in the near future. AI is great by analyzing an existing situation, but it's not good enough. It doesn't live among us, right? It doesn't live among humans, and we solve humans' problem. That's the products we sell. And because of that, I believe in the future, humans and AI are going to work together. I don't think it's going to be AI is going to replace humans. We live among each other. We see the problems. We identify the gaps. We have scientific labs. I don't think AI will get, not soon, to an extent
Well,
of
3 years
replacing.
is not that soon. I mean, it's short 3 years, but at the same time, with the growth of the ability, like it's a long
It's
way.
true, but again, if I'm learning from history, things usually end up in the middle, not in extinct of we lose everything and AI is taking over the world. I believe we're going to work together with AI. The methodologies of work is going to change, and humans are always going to stay in the loop by teaching AI how to do the job better and more efficiently. That's how I envision.
I'm
things to
happy
look
optimistic because I'm not pessimistic or optimistic about it, but I see it a little differently because the difference between AI, the way I understand, the difference between AI and regular tools is one is that tools were never there to think. So if you look at machinery, people work with their hands in the field, and then machinery showed up, steam engine to start with, and suddenly you can plow the field faster but if you turn off the tractor, then you're done, right? AI you can turn off because it's thinking, right? So I'm happy to hear that you're saying it's going to be collaboration because humans are out there in the world solving people's problems. But the amount of knowledge AI is collecting and keep on developing will have a shift, right? So going back to the question is, when I go to work, choose your field, how will my day-to-day look? I go to work at 9 a.m., which might change also, right? In 3 years from now. What will I do if I had a video movie about your life 3 years from now? What will I see you doing differently than you're doing now?
I believe you're still gonna have meetings and you're still gonna have tasks, but AI is gonna be, or AI agents are gonna be part of your team. It's not gonna work without you or separated from you. They're gonna join the team. They're gonna be in the meetings. They're gonna learn from us what's happening outside of their vision. They're not outside hanging out with people. They don't know what's happening in the meetings. They don't know what's happening in nature or wars that start. They might know it from the news, but people actually experience how it is living in the real world, and they need to maintain and shape AI into adjusting to what we need now. So what I believe will happen is that we're going to collaborate, we're going to maintain AI, and the gaps between an agent and a worker that feels like human is going to get smaller and smaller.
Yeah,
Eventually,
so you think the low-level employees, which are almost like an agent, because it's much simpler, will be eliminated.
Yeah.
I mean, look what Dorsey did this week.
More new jobs is going to be
of his
created
employees
out
at
of
Block,
that.
right? Like, you probably follow the news. Like, 40% of the employees were fired because he's like, I don't need all those programmers. I can do it with AI, right?
Yeah. So I don't think programmers is going to disappear, but I do think that people that do simple jobs, juniors, as we like to call it in high, I think this is going to I don't want to say disappear. Again, I think it's very extreme, but there's going to be less need of developers, and then there's going to be less juniors, and the basic tasks are going to be done by AI.
Okay, but let me push back for a second, okay? In a traditional way, when I look at my kids, they're going to start as juniors, and they're going to learn to become seniors, right? Mm-hmm. You just said, we're going to eliminate juniors. Entry-level jobs will be eliminated because it's too simple. AI can do it better, faster, cheaper, right? How do you become, if I'm 21 years old, I'm in college, or how do I become? I can't just become a senior person. I have to grow inside a system, right?
But you need to touch technology by your own, even if it's not with university and not with a job. Before, I think a great thing that happened with AI, it's kind of a bubble that, at least in Israel, it was very felt. People were going to university, they knew to put together 3 lines of code. They joined high-tech companies, and they became seniors on the back of these companies. It costed millions, billions of dollars for our industry. For what? I mean, if somebody has a talent, and if somebody is passionate enough about technology to do it by himself at home, develop projects. Today it's even easier, right? You have AI, you can learn to code super easily. So I think that the talents are going to be rising from that and can find their jobs in companies, and it's not going to look like the traditional way of having a junior that you teach and you feed with a spoon, until he understands what to do.
Okay, so this is really good. You're saying in the past, companies, like let's say Google, some large companies paid for a person to come in with basic knowledge, and they kept on climbing that knowledge ladder on the back of Google. Google paid them to pay salary and learn and become better in 5 years, right? You're saying now it's more about the responsibility of the person. You need to use Claude or whatever it is and go online and learn it. So when you get into a company, you cannot be a junior anymore. You have to have enough knowledge that you can learn by yourself. You don't need to go to a company.
The definition of junior just changes. It's not someone who went to computer science majors and you teach from scratch how to code. It's someone who has the mindset, who knows tools, who knows some lines of code that he taught himself. And the definition of junior just shifts, you know, and you need to bring some amount of value in order to gain your place in the new world.
Okay, great. So I want to end up with advice, right? What do you think? You're saying definition of junior have to change, right? Like people have to do the change. So if someone young or a son or daughter of someone listen to this, what do you think is the best thing they should do preparing to the change that you're dealing with on every day?
They should put aside their fear. I mean, I think kids are less fear of technology, but I would still say I would not focus on learning to code as just learning to code. I would pick myself a goal, something that I want to build, and I would do anything I can to just build it. This teaches way more than just programming per se. That's what I would recommend. Pick yourself something you want to build, something you're passionate about, and try to make something from 0 to 1, even if it's something small. This will make you more prepared to what's coming for us.
Oh, amazing. Well, Shay, I'm so happy. We can spend another 3 hours talking about it, but I think it's a great beginning. So first of all, thank you. It's really extraordinary. And you left me more optimistic about, the future. So we're not going to be replaced. We're going to be a partnership. And I really appreciate your expertise. It's really amazing.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.